how we can use the conditions in querying. So how we can define the conditions in querying, right? So in querying, a few important conditions we discussed. Now, several other queries also we can configure here. So several other options also we can define, right? So technically, multiple options so we can use in the Mongo queries. Like I already told you, equal, greater than, less than, how we can use them. We can also use the in or the conditions, right? How we can use in or conditions. One example I given you, right? Now, multiple queries you can use depending on the requirements. So just like how you use in the database. For example, if you want to use or like option, so then we can use the condition in this way. Let's access this program files. Yes. So bin Mongo. Okay. So let's log in into the Mongo. And here we are defining the conditions. For example, use DemoDB, that is our database. db.tbl, db.tbl products, that is our in the table in that find. We are using the query now, so we are configuring the query here. Suppose we want to use the queries, so then define the query in this way. We can use or. So suppose if you want to define or like options, that means multiple conditions you need to configure. If you want to configure multiple conditions, you can write or, right? You can use $or, and you need to configure the conditions in a square brace. So what is the first condition? So the first condition is suppose name is shirt, that is one option. Name is shirt. And another condition, then comma, then you can define another condition. In this condition, so some price. So some price. So price, what is the price condition? Price condition is $LT, less than. So suppose some 4,000 or less than 10,000. So like this we are defining. That means name is a shirt or price less than 10,000, whatever the values are there, we need to define. So here we are using or, So it has to get the details after defining this. So syntax is missing something. Syntactically, what is missing into this? Quantity. So the price here is $LT less than. Here we should not use less than symbol, na? Right? Yes. So the condition you have to use this one, colon, right? Yes, colon is missing there, right? So that is the condition. Less than is defined by using LT. It should get all the details and display. And we can add pretty. So to display in more better way. So less than 10,000, whatever less than 10,000 are there, it will display. So or less than suppose 6,000. So we can add the conditions less than 6,000. So that means here we are defining the condition in this way. So less than 6,000. So we are configuring the condition in this way. Then it is going to get only these two details. One is a speaker, which is less than 6,000. Another one is shirt. Two conditions are configured here. So or is used in this way, or is used in this way. Actually, it is similar to, that means here we are using the condition. So specify query, using or, so like or. So, and for that, we have this query defined in this way. This is the query. So that is how we configured the query. Okay. So that is how we are defining the query. And actually, this is equal to something like this. So we say select. In SQL, it will be from. So TBL products, TBL products, TBL products. So here it will be like where. So where, and here we say name is equal to shirt. Name is equal to shirt, or, and the price so less than, so 6,000. That will be in this way. This is how generally SQL query will be. Configuring the SQL query will be. So defining the query. We can generally in SQL queries, we have the options like how you can define like option. That means so using like in query. Generally, so you have like in the queries also. Usually like is used to find, if find, so is there any particular name, anything starting with that particular character, we can use like. Here we have to write them as regular expression, actually regular expression. So you have to use a regular expression for verifying verifying the characters, verifying the value in a specific string. So we have to use regular expression. So regular, it is similar to, so SQL like, right? It is similar to SQL like. We need to use the conditions and we need to configure the conditions. Technically, so we need to define so the options in this way. Usually it depends on what kind of data you are having. So what kind of data you are having. That means if you want to search for the names which is starting with specific, so and you want to use the conditions and or like options, then you can use the querying like this. So the querying like this, that means you have to write the option like this. Suppose so we have options, yes, right? So here we are saying db.tbl products dot find. So tbl products dot find, and here we are writing a query. So the query is here we are defining name, and we are using a regular expression. Like here we are using a regular expression. Generally regular expressions are defined in double slash. That already we know. Regular expressions are defined in double slash. And here we are configuring the expression. Suppose I said, so here the caret, so the caret P. So we are writing that caret P. Or so suppose here we are writing character some, yes. That means it has to, so pretty. So that's what we are defining. That means it should get the characters. It should get all the values. So which are matching with, which are having the character, yes, I'm using the lowercase. How you can ignore the case? To ignore the case, we have to use /i. This is searching for the name which is having, so the name which is having yes character, which is having a s character. So we can verify that. So by, it is similar to using like. It is similar to using like. We are using regular expression here. We are configuring through regular expressions. That is important. So managing the regular expressions and defining the regular expressions, configuring the regular expressions. Technically, this is so how you use the regular expression for using like. You can search based on the regular expression also. So this is an example for that. This is an example for that. Actually, it is similar to the functions like select name. So it is similar like select name. We are using select name, right? Select a star. So from TBL products. So where name like. So we use the options here. Like we are defining some character like yes, that means it is having that particular character yes. So then usually if it is searching for that particular character and configuring it, then it will have the option like. That means we have to use that like. So like, and you know that like, and generally it is defined in so p%. That's how we define. So also some here I said yes percent. Yes percent. That is how we have to define. These are the basic things. These are the basic things generally how we use the queries. So we have to use the conditions. We have to configure the conditions and we have to define the conditions. This is documents, how you are configuring and querying the documents. Later, one more option I will show you how we can query the contents, how we can query the contents. So based on any specific array, suppose in our document, so we have an array. So we have an array and we need to find the arrays. So arrays, and we need to get the details based on array values. Also we need to search. So we need to search. If you want to search based on the array values, so then for example in our table we are having a ship to. So then ship to is an array. Actually ship to is an array. Then here we are. So that means how we can search the array. That means here another option is querying array. Querying array elements. Generally querying array elements is simple. Same option here. Suppose we say db.tbl products.find and .pretty. So, and how you will query the array elements? How do you query? Generally querying the array elements. So we have the options like suppose we can just define the query is shipped to. So the field is shipped to. And what values you are expecting? So Delhi, so and Hyderabad. That is the value I am defining. That means it has to find which are having Delhi, Hyderabad. Shipped to contains Delhi, Hyderabad. It is showing empty, nothing. So why? Because here, so suppose what are the records we are having initially. That means we can search based on directly the values in this way. That means you can configure, we want the values in this way. It is not showing, that means only these two are not available. You have Delhi, Hyderabad, Chennai, something values like this. If you want to search for any specific condition, so here, so we are defining the array. So like this, shipped to. So we are defining shipped to, and shipped to contains, suppose some Hyderabad. Like this, we are configuring. Shipped to contains Hyderabad. So this is shipped to is actually an array. In that array, we are searching for that values and we are configuring that values. So initially it is unable to find that value and unable to display the value. So why? Because as I already told you that here the conditions should exactly match for that to handle that value and display the value. That means it should be like, suppose you see our array here, db.tbl products dot find dot pretty. So this is the collection you see. So we have a field shipped to inside the products. Shipped to is an array of string type, and one value is having Delhi and Hyderabad. Another value is having Delhi and Chennai. Another value is having Delhi, Chennai, and Hyderabad. Now we want to search for the values, so which are matching with those conditions, values with those conditions. That means generally one of the problem here is usually some values may be blank. That means they may not have any specific value inside them. We need to search for the values. We need to display the values. We have to use the operators also while searching for that. We have to use the operators also while searching for that. That means operators are nothing but, so we need to define the operators for that. Means we need to get all of the values. So usually we use db.tbl products dot find, and here we need to search. So, and we need to search the field shipped to. That is the field we need to search. Okay. Here we need to define an operator for searching. We need to define an operator for searching, and we need to search for all the values. Then we have to use an operator called all. $all. This operator is used to search for the elements that are all. So it has to search in all. We have to search for which elements. We need to configure the elements. That means one option is we are searching for Hyderabad. So another option is we are searching for some Delhi. Like this, we need to configure the query. That means we have to use the operators. So for searching any value, you can also search for any specific value. You can also define multiple conditions. So greater than, less than, we can use multiple conditions. But our data should have certain elements. We have several operators. Suppose you are searching for string, then we have to directly use this all operator. That means we are accessing all the operators and we are defining them. So generally, when you are searching for array, another important operator is present. So two important operators are there. We will use pretty at the end. Two operators are there. This is one commonly used. I will copy that. Yeah. And another operator is there. You can see it is showing all of them. That means it is showing that. That means which are having Delhi and Hyderabad, it is displaying. We have to use all. We need to configure all. So it will find the values which are using that particular. So this is a querying array. And there is another operator, especially while working with arrays. So querying array, that means it requires the following operators, following operators. So operators. So what are those operators? So one is we have $all, that is one operator, and we have another operator that is element match. This is used for finding exactly the value that are matching. This is like equal to that particular value. It is equal to that particular value. So we have to use these two operators. So when you are searching in an array, suppose you have some contents, your documents have some arrays, then we have to configure in this way. So example, generally, this is an example how we define. So this is an example how you can search for the arrays. We have to use these operators. You can even search for any specific element, db.tbl products dot find, and here we can write shipped to, and here we can get any specific value also. We can search for any specific value, find that particular value and return that particular value. So we can just use, so that means so it is matching with shipped to, it is matching with some Hyderabad. It will get only the array elements that contains that Hyderabad. We need to create the data also in a similar way. We can have greater than, less than, if we are using numerical values. If the array contains numbers, we can use numerical values. We can configure the numerical values and we can handle the numerical values. So this is technically various options used for reading the elements, querying the elements from the data. So this is find how we can read the records. These are important because later from our server side technologies, we will use different queries for filtering, sorting, searching, and all this. And that for that we need to handle all these options. Right? Next, important after understanding the reading and filtering the records. So we have another important is update operations. Means how we can handle the updating of records, how we can update, or that means it includes modifying existing documents in a collection. So modifying existing documents in a collection. And for that actually, so collection for that MongoDB provides so MongoDB provides the following functions following methods. So methods for performing those operations, for updating. So we have operations like the methods, like we have update one is a method. We have like update many is a method, and replace one is another method. These are the methods which are used for updating the records. So how we can update the records, how we can modify the records. Actually, for that we need to use the condition. That means we have to write the filters for updating. We have to write the filters for updating, modifying, and all. So we need data also accordingly. Suppose I want to update any specific record. So generally, how we can update the record? So we need a query. So to update the record, generally syntactically, how you define these operators. db dot collection, and we have update one or update many. We have to use the operations. Generally, update one method is used to update any one specific record, record. And generally, how you configure this update operator? Update methods actually they expect. So first, in the query, we have to define an update operator, and we have to define the field that you want to update and what value you want to update. That's how we need to configure the update records. We need an update operator, and MongoDB So MongoDB update operator is dollar set. Update operator is dollar set. So it will create the field. So remember, set have the ability of creating the fields. So creating the fields if the field is not available. So if field is not available, it have the ability to create the fields. Now, if the field is there, then it can handle that. Update operators have lot of things. So that means not only set operator, there are so many update operators. So MongoDB provides various operators for updating. Generally, the operators for updating depending on different types of situations. That means what kind of data you are going to update based on that. So let me give you the name and the description here. So the operator and the description. So what are the update operators regularly used in MongoDB? So regularly used is set. Other than that, we have certain options. Generally, the update operators. So we have current date, that is an update operator. Usually this is used to, so this update operator, it sets a value of the field to the current date. That means it is used to set the value as current date. That means if any field is having a date value and you want to update the date value to current date, that means it may be having different values. If it is having different date values and you want to update to the current value, then you have to use this current date. Current date is going to add that value. So that means it will remove the existing date and it will update with the current date. So that is, so by using current date, you can also use inc. It is used to increment. It increments the value of the field by specified amount. That means, for example, we have certain field like price. Price is there, so some 1,000. We want to increment by 1,000. That means we can give inc and say 1,000. Then all the price value will be incremented by 1,000. So that means if you want to increment so the value of any particular field, then you can use simply inc, right? We can also use $min. That means it will update is below the specified value, that is the minimum value actually. Similarly, we can use max. Max is also used for, so it will update only when the field value in so is the field value is above the specified value, above the specified value, that means the max value. So similarly, so we also have an option rename. It is used to rename the field. That means column name we can change. So that column name, if you want to change the value, then we have to use set. So it is used to change the field value. If you want to change the field name, then you have to use rename. Right. That is how we have to define. And one more option you have $unset. It is used to remove any specific field from document. That means any field you can remove. By using unset, we can remove any specific field. So these are the general options. These are the general options. And remember, this is an JavaScript based environment. So in that case, actually, it can use various modifiers. It can use various modifiers, various operators for dealing with arrays and all. That means same like array functions. Suppose if there is an array inside document, and into the array you want to add an item, you want to remove an item. So then generally, so suppose you are updating the record, already you have an array. That means into this ship to array, I want to add one more. So if you want to add one more, that means generally we have some operators I will give you here. So MongoDB provides operators for modifying the array fields. So for that it has special operators. That means if there is an array field, and in order to modify the array field, some special operators it is having. And those operators are same like your JavaScript array functions actually. That means, for example, you can use just like JavaScript array functions, as I told you. You can use the operator. You can use the operator like $pop. You can use the operator like $pop. It removes the first or last item of an array. So it can remove that particular one. So you can use options like push, like it adds a new item into array. So we can also use the options like pull all. These are array manipulations. So it removes all matching values from array if you want to deal with multiple, right? So this is used for, and we can also use the option like dollar position. So we can use dollar position. This is an operator. It is used to add a new element at a specific position in array. Add any specific position in array. So we have options like slice. We have option like slice. That means it is, you know, all these options. Slice. So that means it is used to extract that particular value and remove the value. That means it is used. Slice here, it works like splice option. That means it is used to limit the size of updated arrays. So these functions are little bit varying, but we know these options. Sort is used to arrange documents in order. That means it will modify by arranging them in order. These are all array related options. These are all the functions that we generally use. So the operators that we use to modify the fields, configure the fields. Generally, how we can use these operators, how we can define these operators. So depending on what you want to change, how you want to change, we need to configure that. That means how you define the change, the options configuring the change. So let's see how we can use these operators. Means one or two operators, how do we work with them? Then we can handle the other operations to deal with this. Now, first option is and one important point I already told you. So that is already you remembered. MongoDB supports indexing. What does that means? Remember that pointer? It supports indexing. What does that means? Indexing means What do you say? Remember that point? What does that indexing means? Indexing means, yes. So that means you can update based on any field. Am I right? In simple terms, you can update based on any field. You can update based on any field. That's how generally we handle the update operations, right? Update based on any field, not only on specific field. So update based on any field. Am I right? Update based on any field. That is how we need to handle. That means you can generally update happens based on primary key field. So update happens on primary key field. So now you can use update on any specific field. So update on any specific field, right? You can update on any specific field. That's what actually how you manage. So generally, so updating depending on the specific field. That means generally when you write the selecting queries, so select means we need to use the command update TBL products. So set field names, set field names, set field. So and we have to define value, and where we have to define the condition. That means we generally use the primary key field actually. When you define update, we use the primary key field, right? So instead of configuring that, we can use this option, right? How we can modify any record, how we can add the records. So let's see one simple option we will see. So indexing is based on any specific value. So you can set. Now, how we can update any particular? Suppose I want to update the price of shirt. So to some 1500, some value we want to update. Now here some important problems also will come, we will see. So db dot tbl products. And dot we have an option update one. And here when you are updating, so we need to configure the query. The query is, first you need to define the finding query. First you have to define the finding query. Finding query is some name is shirt. This is the finding query. That means it will search for name. It will search for name shirt. After the finding query, we need to define the updating query. Updating query we need to configure here in the flower brace. And we have to do that by using $set. And what you need to update for that. So I need to update. So the field options here we need to configure. I need to update price. Price is equal to how much? We need to configure the value. So we need to update the value. We need to define the value. So that means we need to configure and update the value. That means how you want to define the value. That means what value, what the price value you need to define. So we need to define the price value. So suppose I will say 1500. That is how 1500. So that is how we need to define. That means, so when you are updating, so you need to first define the filter query and the update query. So that means syntactically, generally how you define the update queries here. So db, so and we have to define collection dot update. So update command you have to use update one, and here we have to first configure the filter query. Filter queries are all the queries that you have learned. You have to define the filter query. And after that, we need to define the update query. We need to configure the update query. filter query and the update query. So we need to configure the filter and update query. So that means, so technically, so this is used to define the filter query and update query. So that means you can see here, generally when I am using this condition here, and you says so acknowledge it to true, matched count one and modified count one. So that means it is showing whether it is able to modify or not. So here I am just defining. So I'll take a screenshot for this snip. So just to show you that output also right here. That means it says that it's successfully acknowledged. That means acknowledge it to true, and the modification happened for that. So this is the query we have defined, and it is showing that result that it is done with modification. And here I am using db.tbl products, tbl products dot find dot pretty, and it is going to display that shirt price to 1500. That means it is going to modify. It is going to modify. Whatever you want to modify, we can configure that. We can define that. So generally, so we can update one record. You can update multiple records. That means if you want to update multiple, you based on any specific condition, you can do that based on the condition. That means, for example, so wherever the price is defined, to, suppose price is greater than 5,000. If price is greater than 5,000, and set the price to 8,000. For all the elements where price is greater than 5,000, set to 8,000. All the elements. Currently we have only one, right? So if our condition is like that, that means we need to configure in that way. Then we can write the condition in this way. So db.tbl products dot. So we can use update many. Here we write the filter condition. That means if price, what is the filter condition? We have to say price is greater than. So price is greater than, suppose some 5,000. Price is greater than 5,000. If price is greater than 5,000, then all the records must set with. That means we need to put the update query. So by using $set, and it should update all the elements price to some 8,000. We have to set the price like this. That means we have to update all the records whose price is greater than 5,000 to set the price to this. Then it says that currently it is matching with only one. If it is matching with multiple records, it will update all of them. That means you can update based on any field. You can update based on any field, based on ID, based on name, based on specific field. You can update based on any field. So you can configure based on any field and define based on any field. That's how we can manage. So that's how we can handle. So technically, so that means now this is going to update. Let me take a screenshot for this also. That means this is going to update that record here. Take properly screenshot. Yeah. So it is going to update that, and it is going to display. It's not only one. It can be multiple also. That means it can update multiple also. It can update multiple. So that means if there are many elements whose price is matching that condition, it will update all of them. It will update all of those options and define. So it can handle that. So that means you can see now. So when I search here db.tbl products dot find, so dot pretty, and you can see it is going to set the price to 8,000 wherever the price is above 5,000. For the product, wherever it is above 5,000, it is going to set. So for that, it is going to set for that. So important is, so we are dealing with any specific. Generally, if you are dealing with multiple at a time, generally we call this mechanism as atomic operations. We call these as atomic. Atomic is nothing but updating multiple records. When you are updating multiple records, we call that as atomic. So atomic is nothing but updating multiple records, right? So that is generally how you configure that. And important is whenever you are modifying, that's depending on different conditions. Like as I told you, right, it's not like only set operator we are using. So we can use for renaming the fields, so we can use for removing the fields, we can use for adding the fields. So that means here, suppose filter conditions, generally one simple task I will give you, you try to do that. So one simple task I will give you, you try to do that. That means you try this by yourself, so that we can see how much you remember and how much you can explore by yourself. You do two important tasks. So change. So one is change the field, shipped, or say in stock. Change the field in stock. So field in stock to stock status. Stock status. We need to change the field in stock to stock status. That is one. Another important, add a new field into all records. Add a new field into all records category. Add a new field into all records category. Add a new field into all records category. That means one more field you need to add category. After adding that, update category according to product. That means if it is Nike casuals, then category should be footwear. If it is like a TV, then a category should be electronics. So like this, we need to update the records. So this is your task. Can you try this? What do you say? Can you try this? That means you need to change the field in stock to stock status. You need to add a new field into all records called category. And after adding category, you need to change the category value according to the product. If it is Nike, then footwear. If it is TV, then electronics. Like this, we need to define. So try this. Try designing this. Try working with this. If you can try this, then that is good. So then that is good. Now we can add more options into it. Now one more options we need to understand how we can delete and how we can use aggregate functions. How we can perform delete and how we can use the aggregation functions. So if we know that, that is enough. Then we can start designing one database and we use in our server-side technology. That we will see in tomorrow's session, right? So by tomorrow, we will finish all the database related logics. Then we can go using this database in our applications, okay? Na? So tomorrow we will discuss about the other options, right? Deleting and all this. By the time you try this task and submit in the class,